We have averaged one water main break a day across the city so far this year, and crews have a reminder to prevent problems with your pipes as well.
And dozens of President Trump's family members and associates have 2 weeks to submit documents for the latest investigation launched against him.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 Now this morning on this Tuesday, March 5th. And I don't think we say this very often in March, but the date is higher than the degree right now.
It is, you're right. That's bad math. I don't like that math this morning, but it is true.
Nope.
It's cold outside this morning. Temperatures are in the single digits above zero, but pretty close to that zero mark. Oh man, the polar bears moved. I was zoomed in on the polar bears. They were kind of wrestling around. That's our new guilty pleasure in the morning. But they have moved on to a different pile of snow at the zoo this morning. They're the only ones that are really happy with this weather. An alert day is in the forecast because unseasonably cold temperatures continue. Morning wind chills today ranging 10 to 20 below. Here's a look at our actual air temperature. 2 in Madison. We'll see as the new readings come in at 6 o'clock if some of those numbers drop even more. 1 below in the Dells, 2 below in Camp Douglas this morning, but at least we're not seeing as many negative numbers on the map. Wind chills will still be in the double digits below zero this morning, staying below zero even into the afternoon. Here's a look at your traffic maps early this morning. We haven't seen any accidents just yet on area roads, which is great news. There are some brake lights starting to show up on Stoughton Road and the Beltline. It's getting a little busier there, but your drive times and speeds into Madison look pretty normal for this time of the day.
Okay, I'm sorry. If polar bears...
Oh, there they are.
Look at them. Look at them. If they can enjoy the weather, so can we. We're Wisconsin hardy folks here.
I don't have as much blubber as
I know exactly. A very good reminder that they have fur, we do not.
Yeah. Dress appropriately this morning.
Somebody's got a tactic of pinning them up against the wall or the rocks.
I think so. I wonder if breakfast is served shortly.
Forget the rest of the newscast. Let's just watch polar bears.
That's what I do. I just wait outside the wall before breakfast.
Clever.
That's what I do too.
All right. Thank you, Addie.
You're welcome.
6:02 right now, and we usually don't have to warn you this late in the game about frozen pipes, but this lingering cold does have crews concerned.
Yeah, the Madison Water Utility has a reminder about all the damage they can cause and how to protect your own home during what seems like this never-ending winter. Our Josh Sprider is live on the west side this morning with their advice. Good morning, Josh. Hope you're staying warm out there.
Good morning. Yeah, it's another cold morning, as you can tell. I'm wearing the hat this morning, but we are live near Pilgrim Park this morning, the site of the most recent water main break. You can see it's all patched up here this morning. The temperature drop again this week has had the Madison Water Utility working hard and responding to these breaks as they happen. Another potential problem for your water right now could be inside your home. Even though it's March, officials say it's important to keep your winter guidelines in place and help you to keep your pipes from freezing and bursting. So even if you're heading off to that spring break destination soon, keep your thermostat to at least 55 degrees and watch out for those pipes that are close to windows, doors, or other areas that are more susceptible to colder temps. The Madison Water Utility says there is no way to be 100% sure that your home is safe.
Those pipes, and even if you might say, well, I've never had a pipe freeze before, there's always a first time, and this has been a really long, brutal winter. So it happens all the time. It's important to make sure your water pipes inside your house are ready.
As far as the city of Madison goes, there have been 78 water main breaks since the start of the year, including 4 yesterday. Now, that number itself isn't particularly high. You have to go back to the winter of 2013 and 14, the last time we had the polar vortex, when they had a record amount of water main breaks. As for this season, when we eventually do see a thaw, hopefully later this month, they do expect that water main break number to climb. And remember, if you ever see a water main break like this one yesterday, obviously you can see all of the water still frozen around you from it. You can always call their dispatch number, and I've got that up on Channel3000.com.
Yeah, we're talking about record water main breaks. Winter is not over yet, folks. We gotta wait a couple more weeks, I think, at least, until we see this cold weather get out of here, Josh.
Unfortunately, yes, that is correct, and hopefully we can get that sooner rather than later. But obviously with this, we want to make sure that we have kind of that steady climb. We don't want to jump up too fast. Even though we want those warmer temperatures, we got to be careful. Even with the flooding, I mean, all that snow behind me too. This is just insane, ladies.
Insane it is. All right, Josh Sprider reporting live for us this morning. Thank you, Josh.
At the nation's capital this morning, dozens of the president's family members, business associates, and political allies have 2 weeks to turn over documents. The House Judiciary Committee requested that paperwork from 81 people yesterday, including the president's sons and executives from the Trump Organization. Now, Democrats say the probe could yield evidence on possible obstruction of justice, corruption, and abuse of power at the White House. 3 other lawmakers sent letters to the White House and the State Department yesterday asking for documents related to the president's conversations with Russian President Vladimir Putin. President Trump says he is not concerned.
New this morning, one of the 4 Americans killed in a helicopter crash in Kenya over the weekend has been identified as a Midwest native.
It's really working to better the lives of other people. He was really a bright spot in this world, always positive. Always looking out for the neighbor.
Kyle Forty and 3 other Americans were on board the helicopter that went down in a national park known as a magnet for tourists to see Nile crocodiles and other wildlife. Forty grew up in DeKalb County, Indiana, and they later moved to Colorado with his wife, where the 2 were foster parents. The 3 other Americans killed in that crash are from San Diego. The cause of the crash is still under investigation this morning.
Into the Channel 3000 Alert Center this morning, a 37-year-old man faces his 3rd OWI charge after a crash in Sauk County last night. A deputy was following up on reports of an intoxicated driver when he came across a truck that had crashed on State Highway 58 near the intersection with Branton Road. No one was in the truck at the time, but the deputy did see footprints in the snow. Officials eventually found Mark Cast Jr. yelling for help in the woods nearby. An ambulance was dispatched to evaluate him for cold exposure. Cast again now faces his 3rd OWI offense.
All right, parents, there's a new warning out to check what's in your child's kids' meal before letting them dive in. This comes after a family in Columbus says their 4-year-old son found a razor blade instead of a toy in his McDonald's Happy Meal box. Police say they have not heard any similar reports from that McDonald's. Investigators do believe it was an accident and that the store's cleaning tool was accidentally bumped into the meal. That McDonald's is responding with a statement this morning that reads in part, "The safety and security of our customers is a top priority, and we are working with local law enforcement to investigate the claim."
An East Side well will be temporarily closed due to ongoing concerns with chemicals. Madison's water utility is waiting for additional testing and guidance from the Department of Health Services before deciding what to do next with well 15. That's the one along East Washington Avenue where the city believes high levels of so-called PFAS are the result of firefighting foams used at Truax Field. Now, the water in that well still does meet state standards and is not considered to be a threat to the public. Madison Water Utility does plan to bring it back online sometime this summer. Another well near Olbrich Park will be made operational as a backup.
We are learning what advice former Governor Scott Walker had for now Governor Tony Evers before leaving office. In a note released to the public yesterday, Walker wished Evers well and advised him to stay connected to the people who were his friends before the election, adding they will help keep your life grounded and positive. Evers originally denied an open records request from the AP for that letter, saying it was purely personal, but he released it several hours later following criticism from open records advocates.
Meanwhile, Governor Evers will be on the UW-Madison campus this morning, continuing his statewide budget tour. Yesterday, he stopped at UW-Milwaukee for a roundtable on higher education. In his budget proposal, Evers calls for an increase in spending for the UW system and the continuation of a tuition freeze at those schools. Republicans have criticized many parts of the governor's budget, but Evers says higher education funding has possibilities for bipartisan agreement. It is almost 6:09 on this Tuesday morning. An estimated 1.4 million Americans have been diagnosed with leukemia, lymphoma, or melanoma. Some of them are still getting treatment, others are in remission, but they're all asking for our help. We are talking about how you can support blood cancer research that's helping to save lives coming up.
And we are about to rewrite the Badger favorite, Bundle Up, Buttercup. So Hattie has something to sing on the patio. She promises spring is coming, but Danica and I have our doubts at this point. Yeah. Your Alert Day forecast is next on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the patio. We're off to a chilly start this morning, but relatively quiet weather-wise. We had a few flurries overnight, but now those have come to an end. Skies are clear, so we're waking up to a little bit of sunshine. But boy, is it cold, and one of the reasons is because there is just a lot of snow on the ground. In and around Dane County, we have 6 to 9 inches of snow depth still on the ground, and you can see those pink shaded colors. That's over a foot of snow. Some spots in northern Wisconsin have almost 2 feet of snow on the ground at this time. So a lot of snow to melt before we can really see any significant warm-ups for the Badger State. And yesterday, definitely not very warm. We set a new record low, 10 below in the morning. That was this time yesterday. We did climb into the single digits above zero, but wind chill stay below zero through the day. Another day just like yesterday, although just a little bit warmer. Wind chills aren't quite as bad this morning. We're ranging 10 to 20 below, but temperatures are still unseasonably cold. Here's a look at your wind chill forecast for today. Wind chills are in the teens below zero this morning and will stay below zero through the early afternoon hours, climbing just the single digits above zero late this afternoon. So another day that you're going to want to bundle up. Doppler track is showing you that things are pretty quiet. Any flurries have come to an end and moved out of the area. Things are relatively quiet looking back off to the north and west, although there is some cloud cover that's been developing over the last couple of hours in northwestern Wisconsin. Those clouds are headed in this direction, so we will see more clouds this afternoon than we do this morning. Temperatures across the region aren't quite as bad as they were yesterday. Minneapolis is actually above zero this morning, but Eau Claire and Superior are at 4 degrees below zero. Not as many negative numbers on the map here in southern Wisconsin, just a few north of Dane County. The Dells and Viroqua, as well as Camp Douglas, are in the single digits below zero. Everyone else is at least a little bit above zero this morning. Winds are a bit of a factor, though, in a few spots, and where that wind chill is being recorded this morning, it's in the double digits below zero. So stay warm today. Future Track shows you that we do have some cloud cover moving in for the afternoon. Temperatures should be back just a little bit above 10 by lunchtime, heading to highs in the mid-teens this afternoon. Some flurries are possible from those clouds, but no accumulation is expected. Staying pretty quiet overnight, but cold once again. Temperatures are going to start near zero tomorrow. Your extended forecast has highs finally back in the 20s. Hard to believe. I'm a little excited about that, but that will feel a little bit nicer. A storm system tracking to our south on Thursday brings a chance for some light snow to far southern Wisconsin late, but really all eyes are on a weekend storm that brings mainly rain to southern Wisconsin, mixing with snow Saturday night into Sunday. Also, kind of a big weekend coming up. Don't forget, spring forward. Turn those clocks ahead 1 hour Saturday night. Now let's get a look at your First Alert traffic maps this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, good morning. It's a quiet start so far on the Beltline. No delays showing up yet in either direction at this point. Other roads here in Dane County not looking too bad. Some of the usual brake lights on Stoughton Road near the Beltline and inbound East Washington near the Stoughton Road intersection. No delays showing up downtown on campus. Volume not an issue quite yet. Other main routes heading into Madison, including the interstate, they're still moving along at the posted speeds right now with no major crashes or delays. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you very much, Josh, and thank you, Hattie. So every 3 minutes or so, someone in the United States is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Leukemia, lymphoma, and myeloma account for 10%, so 1 in 10 of those diagnoses each year.
An even scarier statistic, every 9 minutes someone in the U.S. dies from blood cancer. Now this morning we're talking with survivor Jason Machete, fundraising organizer Shannon Ratchman, and Demetrius Boyd from Jersey Mike's Subs. Good morning, all of you.
Good morning.
Yeah, we do love this. Jason, I want to start with you because it's stories like yours that are really behind this initiative, this fundraiser. Tell us a little bit about your story.
So 21 years ago today, I was diagnosed with a rare leukemia, hairy cell leukemia, and was feeling ill for a really long time and had really no idea what was wrong until I had a little infection on my finger that wouldn't go away. And then I experienced a lot of pain and fatigue, and I called the doctor, and we all know what that's like. Some days you can't get in, and they said, we can't see you today. And I said, no, I have to come there because it isn't right.
Good for you.
And a few hours later, I was in the hospital, and the next morning, I'm sorry, sir, you have hairy cell leukemia. But the good news is we have treatment for it. So I was treated, and I had a 98% chance of success in the treatment, and I fell into the 2.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I went through a lot of treatments, flew out to San Diego and saw the world specialist on it. But really, in the end, the support from LLS and the education I received helped me save my own life by finding the right medical care in
Wow.
Washington and also on the West Coast.
That's an incredible story.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Shannon, stories like that one obviously motivating you and your organization. Can you tell us a little bit about when you have an event like the one we're about to talk about, where this money is going and what you guys are seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. So LLS is really dedicated towards free education. And I think that's the biggest piece. Like Jason said, he was able to really have a better understanding of what was going on with him because of the support given. Not only that, but the money that we bring in really is dedicated towards research. Right now, we are going after the pediatric research advancements, doubling down and doing over $20 million dedicated towards finding a cure for blood cancers in pediatric children.
Which has already come such a long way, we were talking about too,
Right.
which is great.
Yep, absolutely. So we still have a lot of work to do. You know, 1/3 of people that are diagnosed don't see beyond 5 years of their diagnosis. So every dollar counts, and we've got a lot of work to do yet.
Demetrius, we talked when we first started this conversation about how scary the statistics are behind these cancers, but what's impressive are the statistics behind this fundraiser. Tell us about how much you guys have raised.
Well, we've raised quite a few money since 2010, over 30-some thousand, to help people like Jason said here, that don't have the knowledge to be able to just say, hey, I need to get to the hospital and get in there. We're trying to raise money to help the community, bring them in, let them know that we're here for the Day of Giving and that this month is very special.
So what can people do to help out through, you know, maybe
Just
getting a quick
come in,
lunch?
bring your donations, get a great sandwich. You know, we try to make sure that everyone who comes to our door feels more than just like a customer. We're family. We want everyone to know that. And then celebrate a good month of giving back to let people who don't have the research or knowledge to get better things. And that's what Peter always strived of, and that's what we're continuing to do here.
Awesome stuff. Demetrius, Jason, Shannon, thank you so much for coming in this morning and sharing what you do. Yeah, and for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, 6:19 your time now. Wisconsin's hemp industry is seeing a dramatic increase for its second year with the program. We're going to take a look at the latest grower application numbers.
We are not quite as cold as yesterday morning, but Hattie's warning us about highs that will not get out of the teens. Tell the kids they still need all the layers heading to school. We'll have the proof when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. Barrett and Unique out playing in the elements this morning, having a great time at the Henry Vilas Zoo. They're dressed appropriately for this weather. They have lots of fur to keep them warm. Remind the kiddos, though, that it is a cold start to the day. You got to bundle up once again. Temperatures are technically warmer than they were this time yesterday, though. We're about 10 to 15 degrees warmer. We're at 2 above here in Madison, 2 in Lone Rock, 5 in Mineral Point, 1 below in the Dells. There still is a wind chill factor today, and through most of the day, wind chills will be in the single digits below 0. Here's a look at your bus stop weather forecast. We have temperatures that will climb into the mid-teens this afternoon. Sunshine this morning, but most likely a few more clouds rolling in for the afternoon. Have a wonderful day.
All right, Hattie, we will try with the many layers. Thank you so much. So more than 2,000 people are signed up to grow industrial hemp in Wisconsin this year. That's a more than 500% increase compared to last year's inaugural crop. Those permits are either to grow or process hemp in the state. Almost 90% of those people applying for a permit are looking to grow hemp for the first time. So while the program is generating a lot of interest for farmers here, ag experts for the state are reminding everyone to be as patient as possible as the industry catches up with that kind of excitement.
The Cross Plains Police Department has a new addition they hope will help make their community safer. The department is adding a new drug drop box, allowing people to drop off their unused prescription and over-the-counter medications anonymously and no questions asked. You do need to remove the medications from any bottles and put them in a plastic baggie before you drop them off, and illegal drugs and needles will not be accepted. The drop box is part of a partnership with the National Association of Drug Diversion Investigators. Speaking of police, Madison has a good reason to be especially proud of 3 of its officers this morning. A Facebook post by the Madison Police Department says when they were approached by a woman who was running from an abusive relationship, they went above and beyond their duty to help her. The woman had walked up to Officer Andreas Rivera while he was on patrol and told him she'd left her child to run out for diapers and formula, but she was new to the area and couldn't remember the address to get back. Officers Rivera and Sonny Martinez helped the woman find the address and her child. Then Officer Kyle Toberman took the woman to a local Walmart and paid for the items she needed. You can find a link to read about other good deeds by Madison police officers under this story over on channel3000.com. Restoring your faith in humanity there.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, 6:25 right now. A couple from southeastern Wisconsin face misdemeanor charges after allegedly sneaking out of their house for a workout when the man was supposed to be quarantined for the measles.
Wisconsin is not one of the 10 states that have confirmed cases of the measles so far this year, but Senator Tammy Baldwin is one of the lawmakers talking about how to prevent the spread of it before it reaches our state. The day's top stories are next on News 3 Now this morning. A Wisconsin man with measles is facing charges for allegedly breaking a quarantine order. We'll share the latest statistics on that illness and what lawmakers are trying to do about it.
Our extreme temperature swing back down to the cold this week is meaning more problems for our area roads as far as water main breaks. I'm Josh Better live with the latest numbers and why we can expect to see more breaks in the coming month.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 Now this morning on this Tuesday, March 5th. Another cold day in store in our forecast. I swear spring is on the way. Hattie's telling us, but
she's claiming.
Not today.
Yeah, so did the groundhog. He said it was coming early.
Yeah,
Hattie, I know
Hattie.
you are after him with full vengeance right now.
Yeah, a lot of people probably wondering where that groundhog is hiding because it certainly doesn't feel like spring is right around the corner. Officially starts in just 15 days. We still have over ½ a foot of snow on the ground and temperatures are right around 0 this morning. Skies are clear though. A beautiful shot from the Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam in Platteville. It just looks really cold, and it is. Temperatures are close to 0, 2 in Platteville and here in Madison, actually below 0 in the Dells as well as Camp Douglas. Wind chill is a factor today, especially this afternoon. We're going to see those west winds increase a little bit, so it is going to be another chilly day today. An alert day is in the forecast for these unseasonably cold conditions. Our temperatures will climb into the mid-teens, which is warmer than it was yesterday, but those west winds increasing now up to around 10 to 20 later on today, so that means wind chill will be a factor right through the entire day. Let's get a look at those first alert traffic maps this morning. We'll show you what's happening on the area roads, and things still look pretty quiet. We're starting to see a few cars showing up on Stoughton Road at the Beltline, but nothing that's going to slow you down just yet. No accidents in the area either, so traveling into Madison from the surrounding communities still looks pretty good. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right. Thank you so much, Hattie.
You're welcome.
This week's winter cold has turned to deadly here in Wisconsin. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office is investigating the death of a man found frozen inside a car Sunday. The temperature that day, 17 degrees. Elsewhere in the Midwest, a 23-year-old man in North Dakota was found dead after getting lost outside his hotel in negative 10-degree weather. He was in town that day to referee a juniors hockey tournament. Now back in Madison, this week's deep freeze could spell more problems for water mains.
That's right. Madison Water Utility is prepared for another rash of main breaks with the extreme temperature change. I mean, we're going 30 degrees in one direction or another. Josh Sprider's live just off McKenna Boulevard where crews had to patch things up just yesterday. Right, Josh?
Yeah, good morning. So there were 4 water main breaks yesterday, bringing the total up to 78 so far this year. The most recent right here near Pilgrim Park. You can see it's all patched up this morning, and all of the ice formed after that water did break yesterday. Now, we learned that that number itself isn't particularly high. A spokesperson with Madison Water Utility says the unusual thing about this winter is that we had a very calm January in terms of water main breaks, but then there was a big spike between January 28th and February 11th when there were 53 main breaks across the city. So far, I'm told things have been relatively stable over the last 2 weeks because temperatures have largely been steady. But with the sub-zero overnight temps this week, the water utility does expect to see an uptick in main breaks as the frost line moves deeper into the ground. And because it's hard to predict when and where these breaks happen, that's where your help comes in.
You know, when it gets cold like this, if you see water running down the street, that's a sign that there could be a main break in your area. So, you know, don't ignore that. Go ahead and call our dispatch line. We have crews ready to go all night long to respond to main breaks.
A big concern after this cold is the spring warm-up. Officials say when it does finally start to warm up, the water utility will likely be busy again with main breaks due to the thaw. I'm told we really won't know how this winter shapes up with previous winters until it's over because, as we know this year, it's been very unpredictable, so we will just have to wait and see. The Madison Water Utility says they are ready to respond for whatever happens, and that means you at home as well to make sure you keep those winter guidelines in place to keep those pipes from freezing. I have everything you need to know on Channel3000.com. Lee and Danica, if you need something to smile about, it is 6:30 in the morning, and Mark no longer has to light me up like a Christmas tree. So we are getting close to the end. The light is at the end of the tunnel. I'm trying my best. Just, you got to get through it.
Exactly. Now only if the heat would come with that sunshine,
right.
Josh. I think that's the next step in all of this. So, and hopefully not
We are desperate.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully not too quickly for those water main crews. All right. Thank you, Josh. We appreciate it.
New this morning, a couple in southeastern Wisconsin is facing misdemeanor charges for possibly exposing people to measles last year. Last spring, Jeff Morawski was under a quarantine order to stay in his home in Brookfield for a week and a half while he had the measles. Officers say his wife helped break that order by hiding him in her car to sneak past deputies stationed outside their home and driving him to the gym. Morawski later admitted to leaving the house. He and his wife, Christine Bennett, are both facing misdemeanors since police say Bennett knew her husband wasn't allowed to leave the house. Now, so far this year, 206 cases of the measles have been reported across the country. That's more than what was reported in all of 2017. As doctors here in Wisconsin continue to urge parents to get kids their measles vaccine, a group out in Washington, D.C. will talk about the role of that shot in preventing more outbreaks. Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin is on the committee that will hear from health officials, pediatricians, and an Ohio high school student about why preventable diseases continue to spread in the U.S.
Later today, Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson will be among the lawmakers reviewing the president's latest summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. President Trump cut that meeting short last week, saying North Korean officials were not willing to commit to denuclearization there without the U.S. completely lifting economic sanctions. A special representative for North Korea will speak to a closed session of the Foreign Relations Committee this afternoon, specifically about the process of that country ending its weapons program. 6:35 right now, and some families watching this morning are probably living these numbers already, but there is proof now that childcare is hard to find for the majority of kids here in Wisconsin. Wisconsin Public Radio reports over half of children in the state live in what's known as a child care desert. That means they're in an area with only one child care position for every 3 kids. Some counties don't even have child care providers at all. It doesn't help that only 17% of teachers are eligible for or receive health care from their employers, and only half get paid days off. Despite being more educated than the typical Wisconsin worker, those in education make $10.33 an hour on average, which is considered to be a poverty wage.
6:36 your time now. You could soon be seeing driverless cars around the Capitol as early as this fall. This is a fascinating story. We're going to share the details ahead in the morning sprint.
And Governor Evers says his plan to allow undocumented immigrants to get a driver's license is all about safety. We'll hear more about his plan and his justification when News 3 Now this morning continues. Welcome back. It's that time of the morning where we share the My Morning picture, and Angie emailed us this. It's of the hoarfrost. We kept getting shots of this, and it's just a kind of a natural phenomenon this time of year, especially this year. We've been seeing a lot more of it, it seems, and it is beautiful. We're trying to find these beauty shots in the midst of all of this cold.
Yes, Angie, we so appreciate this. We need a little bit of a silver lining, especially since the cold is nowhere near gone, at least not this week.
Definitely not.
Thanks so much for sharing. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on the Channel 3000 Facebook page or on Twitter, and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. Danica and I share our favorites right here on the program. So as Governor Evers continues his budget tour across the state, one proposal expected to get a lot of pushback would allow undocumented immigrants to get ID cards and even driver's licenses.
The governor says that will actually make our roads and communities safer.
A driver's license would allow them to, or require them to make sure that they do know how to drive, and B, that they have insurance.
Governor Evers says it will also strengthen our economy by keeping workers in the state, but some Republicans don't see it that way.
It's not that it's incentivizing people who are already here to break the law. It's incentivizing more people to break the law, to come here, to get the benefits that people that are citizens get.
Representative Nalen, who you just heard from Pewaukee, says he is open to finding a solution to the issue, that is, like making obtaining a driver's license an amended part of someone's legal path to citizenship.
Meanwhile, the governor is ordering state transportation officials to extend hours at the DMV in hopes of making it easier for people to get an ID for voting. The plan would include keeping DMV offices open on weekends and evenings, and even building new offices accessible by public transit. Transportation officials will also have to update their efforts to inform DMV visitors on how they can get a voter ID, including publishing instructions in multiple languages.
Your time right now is 6:41. Never thought I'd be happy to say this on March 5th, but we will be back in the double digits for highs today.
Yay!
Hattie's expecting a drastic jump in temperature by the time we get to the weekend, adding 25 degrees. Apparently, though, comes with more snow. We will get a look at that extended forecast after the break.
But first, it's March 5th, a very sunny one at that. We want to say happy birthday to Asher, Blake, and all of the kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks so much for celebrating with us right here on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. One more alert day for this unseasonably cold weather that we're experiencing, and that is today. Morning wind chills are 10 to 20 degrees below zero, so not as bad as they were yesterday, but still pretty cold for this time of the year. Let's take a look at our forecast wind chills today. Again, this starts at 6:30 this morning. Wind chills in the teens below zero. Generally, winds are a little bit lighter right now, but they will be increasing through the day. So even though temperatures will warm today, wind chills are still going to stay in the single digits below zero through most of the day. We're dropping down once again tonight to wind chills around 10 to 20 below. Now, here's a look at the countdown for spring, just in case you're counting. 15 days away from the official start to spring, just over 2 weeks. Now, look at the future track forecast model, though, for this upcoming weekend. Need to tell you about a storm that I am keeping a close eye on. This is Saturday morning. Note the mix of precipitation on the map to our west Saturday morning. It will be spreading into the area through the day on Saturday. And for southern Wisconsin, we'll have a southeasterly wind, so temperatures are going to warm above freezing. I do expect rain through the day on Saturday, eventually mixing with and changing over to some snow by the time we head into Sunday, as that storm system pulls off to the east. But amounts could be quite impressive as far as that liquid precipitation. We're looking at anywhere from a half to an inch of rain with this particular system. Snow amounts will be on the light side, but again, we'll keep a close eye on the track of this storm because that would impact those precipitation amounts. Now, today things are much quieter. We had some flurries. They're off to the east. Things are pretty quiet right now. Here's our sunrise this morning. Sun is up. Skies are clear. We have temperatures, though, that are in the single digits. 2 here in Madison and Lone Rock, as well as Prairie du Chien. Temperatures north of Dane County are a little bit below zero. 1 below in the Dells, 2 below in Camp Douglas right now. So let's take a look at those wind chills. Again, here in Madison with winds light, we're not recording a wind chill, but where there is a light wind, wind chills quickly drop into the double digits below zero. Your future track forecast model shows you that temperatures will warm into the teens by lunchtime. It's about where we'll stay today. Mid-teens for highs. More clouds moving in for the second part of the day today, but generally staying pretty quiet. Overnight lows are expected to fall back to around zero once again. Here's a look at our extended forecast. We do continue this ever so slow warm up that we have in the forecast. 20 on Wednesday, 24 on Thursday. Just a chance for some light snow across far southern Wisconsin late Thursday. Otherwise, for the weekend, that rain mixing with snow. Also, daylight saving time begins. So on Sunday, sun is after 7 o'clock. Sunset, I should say. Oh, here's someone that might be excited about that. Ella in Partyville tracking something.
Look at that face.
Very focused.
Yeah.
Yes.
No snow either. I think this was a little while ago, huh?
Yep, taken probably in the fall.
One of my favorite parts.
See a little more green in the pictures.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts of that picture, no snow.
As of right now, at least.
Yeah, you're right.
Thank you so much,
You're
Addie.
welcome.
Morning Sprint's coming up next right here on News 3 Now This Morning. 6:51, time for the morning sprint. Josh Brider is talking about the dozens of water main breaks here in the city so far this year and what we should all be doing to prevent pipe problems.
But we start with another alert day and highs in the teens in Hattie's forecast. Right, Hattie?
They're still going to be pretty cold today. Here's a live look from the Edgewater Skycam. Skies are clear, so we are starting out with temperatures close to 0 this morning. 2 in Madison, 3 in Watertown, 1 below in the Dells this morning. Wind chills through the day in the double digits below 0 early today, climbing only to around 0 later on this afternoon. Bundle up.
I'm Josh Brider live on Madison's west side. The extreme temperature swing is creating more problems for the city's water utility. They have already seen an uptick in water main breaks this week. So far, we are at 78 for the year here in Madison. It was a very busy start to February thanks to the polar vortex, but the city was able to catch a break the last couple of weeks when temperatures stayed steady. That, of course, changed with this cold snap. Officials say when it does finally start to warm up, the water utility will likely be busy again with the thaw. For now, they say it's important for you to keep your winter habits in place at home and keeping the thermostat to at least 55 degrees. And if you do see a water main break in your neighborhood, report it as soon as possible.
I mean, it's very sharp. It's a razor. Couldn't imagine him cutting his arm open or even losing a finger because it's so sharp.
That right there is Scott Diamond from Columbus. He's warning other parents to check their child's kids' meal before they eat after his son found a razor blade inside of his meal. Investigators believe it was an accident and that the store's cleaning tool was accidentally bumped into the kids' meal. McDonald's says it is working with law enforcement to investigate that claim.
A well on Madison's east side is temporarily closed due to ongoing chemical concerns. The city's water utility believes PFAS levels in well 15 are higher because of firefighting foams that have been used for years at Truax Field. Those levels are still below state standards, and the water is not considered to be harmful to drink. The department's still waiting for additional testing and guidance from health officials before deciding what to do next.
Dozens of the president's associates and even family members have 2 weeks to turn over documents requested by the latest investigation against him. The House Judiciary Committee issued letters to 81 associates in all, including the president's sons and executives from the Trump Organization. The probe focuses on possible obstruction of justice, corruption, and abuse of power. The White House called that investigation a, quote, fishing expedition.
Just really working to better the lives of other people. He's really a bright spot in this world. Always positive, always looking out for the neighbor.
That is a friend of a Midwest native killed in a helicopter crash in Kenya. 3 other American tourists died in that crash. Kyle Forte grew up in DeKalb County, Indiana, before moving to Colorado with his wife. The two are foster parents there. Now, the cause of this crash is still under investigation this morning.
New overnight, a 37-year-old man is facing his 3rd OWI charge after a crash in Sauk County last night. A deputy came across a truck, crashed on State Highway 58 near the intersection with Branton Road. And then later, officers found the driver, Mark Cast Jr., hiding in the woods. Cast is in the Sauk County Jail this morning after being checked out for exposure to the cold.
A couple from Brookfield faced misdemeanor charges this morning for possibly exposing people to the measles last year. Last spring, a county health official ordered Jeff Murawski to be quarantined in his home for a week and a half, but officials say he hid in his wife's car to get past deputies stationed outside their home to get a workout in. An off-duty deputy recognized Murawski, who admitted that he and his wife went to the gym.
So far this year, 206 cases of the measles have been reported across the country. Now, that's more than what was reported in all of 2017. As doctors here in Wisconsin continue to urge parents to get their kids the measles vaccine, Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin is on the committee in Washington, D.C. that will hear from health officials and pediatricians about why preventable diseases continue to spread in the U.S.
A driver's license would allow them to, or require them to make sure that they do know how to drive, and B, that they have insurance.
It's incentivizing more people to break the law to come here to get the benefits that people that are citizens get.
Governor Evers is already getting some GOP pushback when it comes to his idea on allowing undocumented immigrants to get ID cards and driver's licenses. Evers says that move would make roads and communities safer in Wisconsin, but some Republicans think it will incentivize more undocumented immigrants to come to the state for those benefits.
You could soon see a driverless car shuttling people to the Capitol as early as this fall. UW engineers are testing a 15-passenger shuttle on a 1-mile route going from the area near Bree-Stevens Field to Capitol Square, most likely via Main Street. The shuttle will cost right around $300,000, and American Family Insurance has agreed to pay for that initial purchase.
There could be a new live music spot on the waterfront by this time summer comes around, that is. The Old Brick Beer Garden on Madison's east side opened a couple years ago, despite concern from neighbors who thought noise and drinking would become a problem. Now the owners want to make it so they can host performances until 8 p.m. on Friday and Saturday nights. Common Council will take up that proposal at its meeting tonight.
All right, 6:57. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with the look at your first alert traffic. Hey, Josh.
Yeah, good morning. Still moving all right on the Beltline with the westbound side beginning to pick up now between Stoughton Road and West Broadway. Usual crowd starting to show up on inbound John Nolan with a few brake lights near the Rimrock and Olin Avenue intersections heading toward the downtown area. And other main routes coming into Madison, including the interstate, they're still moving along at the usual speeds with no major crashes or issues. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh.
Taking a break.
Sometimes just need to lay down.
Oh.
Must have had breakfast already.
Yeah.
Here's a look from the Envy Valley Zoo Cam. One of the polar bears just taking it easy this morning. Stay warm. It is going to be pretty chilly outside for the rest of us. Temperatures topping in the teens.
I'm taking my cues from that polar bear.
No kidding. We'll see you back here tomorrow.